Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So repeat after me. Today we are going to read from Canto 4, chapter 25, verse number 46 to 47. So let's read the verse. 25, 46, Panchadwarastu Paurastya Dakshinaika Tathotara Paschime Dve Amusamte Namani Nripavarnaye Panchadwarastu Paurastya Dakshinaika Tathotara Paschime Dve Amusamte Namani Nripavarnaye Panchadwarastu Paurastya Dakshinaika Tathotara Paschime Dve Amusamte Namani Nripavarnaye. Namani Nripavarnaye. Dakshinaika Tathotara Paschime Dve Amusamte Namani Nripavarnaye. Synonyms: Pancha, 5. Doors, Dwaraha, doors. 2, then. Paurastyaha, facing the eastern side. Dakshina, southern. Eka, 1. Tatha, also. Uttara, 1 toward the north. Paschime, similarly on the western side. Dve, 2. Amusam, of them. Te, unto you. Namani, names. Nripa, O king. Varnaye, I shall describe. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation. My dear king, of the 9 doors, 5 led toward the eastern side, 1 led toward the northern side, 1 led toward the southern side, and 2 led toward the western side. I shall try to give the names of these different doors. Purport. Of the 7 doors on the surface, namely the 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, and 1 mouth, 5 look forward, and these are described as the doors facing the eastern side. Since looking forward means seeing the sun, these are described as the eastern gates, for the sun rises in the east. The gate on the northern side and the gate on the southern side represent the 2 ears, and the 2 gates facing the western side represent the rectum and the genitals. All the doors and gates are described below. Now I'll read the next verse as well. Khadyotā and Āvirmukhī prag dvarav ekatra nirmite Vibhrājitam janapadam yati tabhyam Dyumāt sakhaha. Translation. The 2 gates named Khadyotā and Āvirmukhī were situated facing the eastern side, but they were constructed in one place. Through these 2 gates, the king used to go to the city of Vibhrājita, accompanied by a friend whose name was Dyumān. Purport. The 2 names, Khadyotā and Āvirmukhī, means glowworm and torchlight. This indicates that of the two eyes, the left eye is less powerful in its ability to see, although both eyes are constructed in one place, and one is stronger than the other in the power to see. The king or the living entity uses these two gates to see things properly, but he cannot see unless accompanied by a friend whose name is Dyumān. This friend is the sun. Although the two eyes are situated in one place, they have no power to see without the sunlight. Vibhrājitam janapadam. If one wants to see something very clearly, Vibhrājitam, he must see it with two eyes and the assistance of his friend, the sunlight. Within this body, everyone is a king because he uses these different gates according to his own will. Although he is very much proud of his power to see or hear, he is nonetheless dependent on the assistance of nature. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadhvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this morning Bhagavatam class, and everyone watching online as well, welcome. So today we are going to read two verses. We're going to talk about these two verses and what's been happening in this story of Puranjana. So as we all know that the Puranjana is actually imaginary story, the story of Puranjana, which actually relates to reality. So, you know Prachinabari, right? Prachinabari is the descendant of Prithu Maharaj, who is also the descendant of Dhruva Maharaj. So he's coming from a really nice lineage. And as we know from Prahlad Maharaj's pastimes, that whoever does devotion, whoever does devotional service, some of their or many of their generations are liberated. So we can see the same thing happening here. Like Dhruva Maharaj did a lot of devotional service, and he got the audience of the Lord, and he got liberation, and in that way his descendants are also getting liberation, right? So Prachinabari is one of them, and Prachinabari had 10 sons. These 10 sons are actually going out and they are doing some austerities, and at this time when Prachinabari is listening to this story narrated by Narad Muni, his sons are listening to the story or the song by Lord Shiva at the same time. So father and the children, they are being preached at the same time. How nice is that? So that is the brief history. So let's talk about the allegory, right? So Narad Muni is talking about this story, and he's actually giving Prachinabari like a nice presentation, right? Sometimes on festival days, some really nice exalted devotees, they come and they give some nice presentation. And we just look at the pictures and everything, and it's really easy to understand, right? So Narad Muni is using this method to make Prachina Bodhisattva understand the real point. So he actually starts on a really common ground. He says, the chief aim of life is to get rid of all the miseries and enjoy happiness. Like everyone is like, yeah. Anyone who hears that, everyone is like, yeah, that makes sense, you know. The chief aim of life is to get rid of all miseries. Yeah, that makes sense. And enjoy happiness. That also makes sense, right? But then he says, but these two things cannot be realized by fruitive activity. So he's hitting home with that final point. He's saying the chief aim of life is to get rid of all miseries, which is right, and enjoy happiness, which is also good to hear. But these two things, they cannot be realized by fruitive activity. And that's what you're doing. He starts on a common ground. So Prachina Bodhisattva, after that, he's like, okay, yeah, I'm a bit bewildered by doing all these prescribed duties all the time. I'm a bit confused. So you tell me what to do. So he accepts it and he asks for guidance, right? If someone is not asking for guidance and they're not accepting the fact where they are, it's hard for them to change, right? The first step of change is always acceptance. You need to accept where you are, and then you'll be able to understand the instructions given by higher-ups. If you don't accept where you are, you just think, yeah, no, this is not where I am, then it's hard for you to understand what the seniors are giving you, right? And so after this verse, there's the purport. It's a common description of almost 90% of family men out there, except for devotees, of course, out there, right? I'll quickly read this. So those who are interested only in a so-called dutiful life, namely remaining as a householder, entangled by sons and a wife, and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. So we see, right, even, sad to say, but even our relatives, we see them just living a dutiful life. They think it's such a beautiful life to go to work, earn a lot of Lakshmi, come back home, store it for their generations to come, and they just live their life in this beautiful way, right? But they don't understand. They don't accept it, first of all, that this is a lower level of life. They don't accept it. They don't even know. And who will they listen to, right? They're listening to other dutiful men, other people who are doing the same thing. They go to work, other people are doing the same thing, and they do a bit more than this guy, and he's like, oh, I need to do a bit more. I'm not doing enough duties in my life. So continuing this purport. Translation. Think that such things, householder entangled by sons and wives and searching after wealth, think that such things are life's ultimate goal. Such people simply wander in different types of bodies throughout this material existence without finding out the ultimate goal of life. So it's saying these kind of people, they just wander in different bodies without knowing the actual ultimate goal of life. So Puranjana is actually the same. And Puranjana is none other than us. Puranjana actually applies to all of us. This story of Puranjana, from the top to the bottom, applies to us. Every single thing. So it's actually, Narad Muni is talking about us, to Prachina Bodhisattva. To him, to us, about us, to him, to his, like, about him as well. It's just like applies to every single living entity. So he started off by giving Prachina Bodhisattva the vision of his consequences, right? What has Prachina Bodhisattva been doing so far? He has just been doing prescribed duties, sacrifices, animal sacrifices, right? So Narad Muni quickly shows like a 3D show. Look at all these animals that are waiting for you. They're waiting to kill you. And in the translation it said, they're waiting to pierce you with iron horns. So all of these animals, they've got iron horns now. And they're waiting to pierce Prachina Bodhisattva. And Prabhupada in the purport he explains, right? In the Vedas it's allowed to do animal sacrifice, but in a really nice, proper way. And if there's some mistakes, tiny mistakes, then it will be false. So what happens when we sacrifice animals, right? According to the Vedas. When we sacrifice animals, they get a different body. And this body is actually, they get liberation basically, and they get bumped up to get a human body immediately. So whoever it was, a horse, cow, goat, whatever, right? But these days, so for that to happen, we need to have proper pronunciation of mantras. Even the proper mantras need to be there. The person who's pronouncing or chanting these mantras, they need to be in a proper mood. Their life needs to be nice. They shouldn't be drinking, smoking, all these things, right? They should be a human at first, and they should know like what is happening. They should really have a good understanding, and only then they can liberate this creature, this living entity. But even Prachina Bodhisattva, who is such a nice devotee, who is such a nice human being, he's got all the training, but it's still sometimes there's discrepancies, there's some mistakes. And because of that, all these animals are waiting for him to kill him, to take revenge. So when Prachina Bodhisattva sees that, he's like, whoa, I need to take care of myself. I need to do something different. This is not the way. So Narada Muni says, look at all these dead animals, right? Due to your performing ritualistic karmic activities. You're so ingrained in performing karmic activities. It is said that Prachina Bodhisattva, he used to do one karmic activity, one sacrifice, and immediately after everything is ready for him, and he'll do the next one, immediately after. Like he's not wasting a single time. He's focused, it's great. He's focused, but he's focused on the wrong thing, right? So naturally we'll think, right, when we do karmic things or whatever we do in life, it's for our happiness, right? Naturally we think it's normal. Like people might ask, oh, you guys don't want to be happy? Like, you don't want to be happy? Why are you talking against happiness? He's doing this to make himself happy, right? He's doing karma. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has a definition of karma. He says that work done for one's own happiness and the happiness of others is called karma. So it takes a bit of thinking, a deep thought. Like work done for our own happiness and the happiness of others is called karma. And there is nothing about trying to please Krishna in the performance of karma. So when we do karma, when we perform karma, Krishna is not involved there. That's why in Bhagavad Gita Krishna is explaining about karma yoga. That you do karma and you remember me. Right? You add me to the equation. So that's karma yoga. So you're doing karma, but you're connecting to God like that. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says that, and in accordance to Narad Muni and what Narad Muni has said, that you can't be happy, you can't take miseries out of your life by doing karma, he's saying. And what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying, everyone is trying to make themselves happy or others happy by doing karma. So it means that by karma we cannot be happy and no one can be happy. Just connecting two dots, it means that when we perform karma, we think, yeah, we're going to do this to make myself happy or to make my family happy or to make this situation better, but it's not going to work. Narad Muni has said that it's not going to work. And Prachina Bodhisattva tried it, but he has shown him the consequences. Yeah, it's not going to work. Later you're going to be unhappy by getting revenge by these animals. So Narad Muni is actually giving him a reality check, as we say, right? He's telling him that you are on shaky ground. King Prachina Bodhisattva, you are on shaky ground. You think you are trying to do something that's good for you, but it's actually not good for you because you're on shaky ground. This is not the ground you should be. And he wants all of us, Narad Muni, through Prachina Bodhisattva's story, wants all of us to understand this, that we are on shaky ground. When we base our happiness or when we base the results that we want through karma, we think, yeah, I'll do karma and then that way we will get the benefits that I want, ultimate goal in my life. So, moving forward, we can talk about Puranjana's free will. So, Puranjana is basically the spirit soul, right? And it's said that the spirit soul, he was trying to find a suitable place to live, and he was traveling here and there, different places, different cities. Finally, he goes to, or he sees this place that has, it's a city and that has 9 gates, right? And this 9 gates, this city is this body. Okay? So, King Puranjana, he sees the city and he's attracted by the facilities that the city has. Different rivers, parks, birds and stuff. So many good things that he sees in the body and he's attracted. And he thinks, okay, this is the best place that I can live for sense gratification. So this is actually an idea that the spirit soul is traveling through different species of life and trying to enjoy. He tries to enjoy in an animalistic life, right, in animal bodies. And ultimately he comes to the human body and he thinks, yeah, this is the best way to enjoy. This is the best facility that I have to enjoy all the things that I want to enjoy in my life. Puranjana is saying the same thing. He's thinking the same thing. So when we see, like Puranjana went there and he saw a woman, and he's attracted by the woman's form, what she speaks, whatever, everything about the woman, he's attracted by. And what this woman represents, it's material intelligence. Intelligence, but in a material way, right? So woman says so many different things. I don't know where I came from. I don't know where you came from. You and I, we are here, so let's just enjoy. She says that. And that's a very contemporary way of relationships that happen these days, or friendships or whatever, right? You are here, I am here, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what's going to happen tomorrow. It doesn't matter where we came from. Let's just enjoy now, right? That's the whole definition of relationships these days. So this story is like from ages ago, right? But it's still relevant. And when people say, no, Bhagavatam is boring, or reading scriptures is boring, how can you waste your life at this age reading scriptures? Like, you should be doing something else. You should be reading science books or research. But they don't understand. They don't dive deep, right? If you're only on the surface, then you find all the floating rubbish there. You find small little garbage, or you might find some treasure there, some shiny bottle that you might like, and you might try to open, and you might find something there if you're on the surface. But if you dive deep, then you'll find treasure, right? Unless we dive deep, how can we find treasure, right? So people, they're just looking from outside. They're seeing a jar of honey, and they're just trying to lick from the outside, and they're saying, oh, I don't get any taste. So I don't think this jar is a jar of honey. But you have to open it, you have to put your hand in, and you have to take the honey out, and you have to look at people who have done that. That's the way to open it. You learn, and then you open, you take the honey out, you taste it, and then you'll understand, yeah, actually Bhagavatam has some honey in it. Not just some, it's the nectar. You'll understand. So when we note the flavors of Puranjana and his connection with this woman, we can understand that everything that he's doing out of his free will. No one is forcing him to do anything. No one, the nature or nothing. I guess someone could say that, yeah, the environment is such that there's no one else there. It's just him and her, and then nothing to do, so that's why he's doing that. But then still, if he was properly trained, he could have, approached her in a respectful way and not in an enjoying way, right? But he's doing this out of his free will. He thinks he's the enjoyer. That's why he's approaching this woman in an enjoying manner, and he's trying to, say different words and try to take her, good side and try to enjoy her. So he's doing everything voluntarily. We can understand that. So this means that we are also, when we say, oh no, because of Maya we are doing this, because of something else we are compelled to do this, but it's actually our own free will that we do that, whatever it is. So no one forces Puranjana to associate with this woman, but out of her various lusters, Puranjana is swayed away. Puranjana sees a beautiful smile, all these things, and he voluntarily wants to get in touch with her. He sees that she's the one that I should be approaching, and he's approaching like that. So this is an indication that us in a conditioned state of being in this material body as a spirit soul, and we are trying to associate with the material energy. This is what it means, right? We are actually in this body, in the heart region, as Prabhupada says in the purports. We are that spirit soul that's living in this body. It's really hard to realize that just by saying it, We get to hear that all the time, that we are the spirit soul, not this body. And we see the changes. Like when I was 10 years old, my hands were smaller. My height was less. My face was different. I didn't have facial hair. Now I see myself in the mirror. I don't look the same. There's some resemblance, but I don't look the same. And from now, let's say 10 years, 5 years, I don't know, I'm going to look different. So we see, right in front of our eyes we see, but we still don't realize it. How do we realize it, right? We know that our senses we get to hear that all the time, that our senses are weak. So we need to have Sastra Chaksus. When we have Sastra Chaksus, when we look through the Sastra, then we will understand. Otherwise, it's hard to understand these things. We get swayed away like Puranjana. So, Srila Prabhupada explains in one purport, right? Krishna never forces us or anyone to be in contact with the material energy. Krishna is never forcing us, actually. So it is all by our own use of our misuse, or our misuse of our little intelligence that we have and a little independence that we have, that we associate with the material energy. Otherwise, Krishna never wants us to associate with the material energy. Material energy we can understand, or Maya we can understand in a certain way, that she's actually a discipline in charge. Yeah, she's checking all the devotees who are trying to get closer to Krishna by giving them some tests. Can you pass this test or not? Are you really serious to go to Krishna, or are you really powerful? Are you really capable to go to Krishna? If you're not, then I'll put you through this test and you'll fail. And failure is not a bad thing. Failure is a good thing. It gives us an opportunity to understand what we need to do later, what we can do, right? So Maya, in different ways, she's trying to teach us how we can go to Krishna and how we can be powerful enough. Like Ed Prabhu has said to me this many times, that Krishna and the love for Krishna is so powerful, so much. At the same time, that's why Maya needs to be so powerful, right? To achieve Krishna, or to achieve the love of Krishna, is so much. At the same time, that's the reason why Maya is so powerful. And we think, we can't conquer her at all, because Krishna and love of Krishna is so great. So it may be true, that someone may not be able to defend Maya's attacks or fight back. That just means that training is less. We just need to do a little bit more training, right? We just need to acquire some more weapons, some more sutras to defend ourselves and to attack her, because when we are in the devotional life, when we are trying to be a devotee, it means that we are in a full waging war with Maya. And imagine and Maya is thinking, since time immemorial I've got the control of this person, and now suddenly he's changed. He's trying to go away from my lap. No, I won't let this happen. No. So she will do everything that she can to try and bring us back. So if that means that we are failing, it just means that our training is less, and we have to just train a little bit more. We have to get better weapons, better techniques to defend ourselves, to attack. So as Puranjana is going through the forest, he's looking at the woman, he's looking at different things to enjoy, right? Similarly, he's getting so much stimulus, right? For his senses, he's getting so much stimulus to engage himself in sense gratification. Similarly, we also have the same arrangement these days. All of us have a smartphone, right? As soon as we wake up, unlock it. How many likes did I get? How many comments did I get? Did I get any shares? Did my story get shared? Did my story get liked? We tend to focus on me. Are people looking at me? I need validation in this life. Who doesn't need validation? I'm a human being. Everyone needs validation. So they give all these excuses to use, or misuse rather, social media. Social media is not a bad thing. Just to take an example of social media, right? It's not a bad thing, but the use of it is bad. It's like the knife. The doctor could use the same knife to cut your stomach and take something out of there, a tumor or something. But a thief, if he gets a knife, he will stab you and he will rob you, right? He's using the same thing, but the intention is different. So we need to actually see what our intention is and how we are using certain things. Right? We're not saying to stop using all of these things, or just go to the forest and just face the wall and chant Krishna's names. We're not saying that. It's called Yukta Vairagya. You're using all these things for Krishna's service, right? All of these things, AI, smartphones, photography, videography, all these things, music, right? So in the same way, if Puranjana had done that, we wouldn't have this story. He didn't do that. And that's us, by the way. So much stimulation is there for every senses, right? So it's very dangerous situation actually. No one really talks about this, but it's quite dangerous. Wherever we go, if we see a billboard, or if we see an ad, or if you just go on YouTube and you don't have YouTube Premium, you'll get all these ads of these burgers, these Whoppers or whatever, or these things, that things. It's just constantly bombarding you with ads that you don't want to take, right? The NOI, there's verse number 2, Atyahara Prajalpa, right? Atyahara. What does Atyahara mean, right? Atyahara means to eat a lot and also to accumulate a lot, whether it's wealth or information even. Like if we're accumulating a lot of information, that's also bad for us. It's opposite to, or it's bad for our devotional service, right? But no one really talks about this, and you actually have to pay to be free from all these distractions these days. Otherwise, you're just going to be like surrounded by distractions. You have to pay for the subscriptions. You have to pay for the ad-free subscription, whatnot, if you want to use YouTube. So the world is like that, right? What can we do? So in this case, that's why we have to take the association of pure devotees or devotees who know about Krishna and who want to dedicate their life to Krishna. And that way we can take a little bit from them, right? Associating with them, rubbing our shoulders. I can get a little bit of them in me. And in that way I can save myself. Otherwise, if I'm just in the association of non-devotees, surely I'm going to fall. Surely. So, my Guru Maharaj quotes something on this. He says that an essential lesson of material existence is that as soon as you contact a sense object materially, that is, you sign up for an endless load of complications. So as soon as, let's unpack this, yeah? And let me complete it actually. Sign up for an endless load of complications. Most of us, we never see or we never predict this, that there are complications coming. We never predict. We just see the sense object and we associate with the sense object, but we don't see the complications that come after the sense object. We never predicted. Our intelligence doesn't go there. It's blinded by the sense object, the sparkling sense object, right? Could be anything. Numerous examples that we can give, sense objects. And Guru Maharaj says that every generation laments about this. So he has studied history and stuff, right? So he knows about different generations and what different generations says. And he has a clear view, right? So he's saying every generation laments about, oh, if only I had known this situation would come, I wouldn't have done that. If only I had foreseen this situation, I would have never associated with this sense object. I never realized that all this would come along with the basic, simple choice that I made. Guru Maharaj is saying. It seems very simple, right, when we want to associate with one sense object. It just seems like so simple. Yeah, it's just one thing, it's not going to affect me so much. But we don't see the complications after it, right? So we have to keep that in mind. And he also says that this is pointed by Vyasadeva in Canto 2. He says, Pashyan api na pashyati. Like although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. This is like someone who is entangled in material sense gratification, right? So we can say, right, we have been moving from different bodies, one body to another body in each life, and we have been acquiring different experiences in each life. But these experiences, by the grace of material nature, is erased in every new life. Like in my past lives, I've done so much. All of us, we have done so much, so many different things in our past lives. But every single new life, that memory is erased. If the memory was there, then we wouldn't be able to stay alive. We have done so many abominable things that if we just get reminded of these things, even in this life, sometimes we forget, but we've done so much abominable things. And if we just get reminded of those things, then it's just depressing, actually. So in that sense, we can say experience itself is not enough, right? Because even with these experiences, we may not remember them, but these experiences, they stay as anarthas. And we just curse ourselves like, oh, where is this anartha coming from? I'm trying my best to serve Krishna, but this is just coming back to me and pulling me down. Where is it coming from? It's coming from your past lives or this life, the things that we have done. So experience itself is not enough to understand where we need to go, what we need to do. Right? That's why we need to listen to the people who have realized this. Listen to Sastra, Guru, Sadhu, Krishna, of course. So, quickly I will go through one verse of prayer that I think Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote. Oh, hey, Vaishnava Thakur, right? No, Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote. Correct me if I'm wrong. It says, Chaya bega domi, chaya dosa sodhi, chaya guna deho dase. Chaya sadsanga deo he amare bosechi sangera ase. O he Vaishnava Thakura Dayara Sagara Edase Karuna Kori. So let's unpack this, okay? This is a prayer. So prayers are really important for our devotional life. So this is a prayer. It says, teach me to control my 6 passions, rectify my 6 faults, bestow upon me the 6 qualities, and offer unto me the 6 kinds of holy association. So what are the 6 passions? Right? 6 passions are Vacho Begam, Manasa Begam, Krodha, Jiva, Udar, and Upasta. So these are the urges of the tongue, the urges of the mind, the urges of anger, of the tongue again to taste stuff, the urge of the stomach, and the urge of the genitals. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying that he has all these 6 passions. And he's saying this for us. We have all these 6 passions. And we have 6 faults: overeating, attachment to material things, inability to follow regulative principles, sense gratification, useless idle talk, and impure habits. And we have 6, and he's saying, so we have these 6 passions and 6 faults, so you please give me 6 qualities, okay? And 6 kinds of holy association, he's saying. So these 6 qualities are enthusiasm in practicing devotional service, firm faith in devotional processes, a strong desire to attain prema bhakti. Like we need to have a strong desire. And he's saying a favorable service attitude, avoidance of non-devotees, and appreciation of the company of devotees. So these are the 6 things that help us in our devotional service, in our devotional life, in going back home, back to Godhead, in cultivating Krishna consciousness. And there's 6 kinds of holy association. To go to an assembly of devotees, to invite devotees into one's home, to discuss and hear devotional topics, to take the Mahaprasad of devotees, and to offer Mahaprasad to devotees. So not just to take, but to offer as well. Yeah. So with that note, I would just like to remind myself and everyone else that we should constantly pray to our elders, to the acharyas, to Radha Gopinath, that please keep us under the shelter of your devotees, and please don't take me away, because if you take me away, then I don't know how many innumerable years, I don't know how many innumerable lifetimes I will forget you again. And I don't want to be in that position. Finally, in this lifetime, I've understood who you are and who I am, and our relationship a little bit. So please give me the chance to understand this more and cultivate love for you a little bit more. So thank you so much. If there's any questions, I'll just take one question. Thank you. Yes, Ro. Hare Krishna. Sure. So your question is? No, it's fine. So your question was how to associate with them. Okay. Yeah. So when you ask that question, mm, no, I understand, bro. So when you ask that question, my mind, I was thinking about what my Guru Maharaj told me because I had the same question to him. I told him like when I'm at work, I always get distracted by these people, and I feel bad that I can't give them Krishna Prem or I can't give them devotional service or stuff like that. And I told him that, and he said, first thing he said that work is a play, as in it's an act that we're doing. We are acting there, right? At work, we have to act in a certain way. If they like something, you just have to pretend like you like that as well. But internally, you like something else, right? You know what you like. All of us, we know what we like internally. No one can deny that. We can't like lie to ourselves. We know what we like. So internally, we can have Krishna in our heart. We can think of Krishna. We can chant his names even. Outwardly, you can just be like, yeah, you're right. That's so cool, Radheshyam Prabhu always says, if someone is saying something like, oh yeah, like they're raising their voice or they're trying to prove their point, you just say, yeah, you're so true, that's so right. And you just move on. If you try to compete with them or if you try to argue with them, because it's not going to work. If a fool is trying to, or if we tell a fool that you're not doing something good, then they will get angry. We don't want that situation, right? So the best thing in that situation would be to give them Krishna in other ways. Give them prasad, or bring them to the temple, or just like normal small things, like not crazy like, oh, you need to grab a chanting bead bag and start chanting from tomorrow, not like that. Or you need to understand that Krishna is the ultimate and you're wasting your life, not like that. You just say, here, I brought you some prasad. Simple as that. Because Krishna's prasad, Krishna's names, form, pastime, everything's the same. Right? So we need to have faith in that and we need to go through that. And slowly, they will change. It's not that you need to give up these friends. We have some attachment, so we can do our best and pray to Krishna always. And that way, maybe. I'm actually not the qualified person to answer this question. There's other qualified devotees. I won't be taking any more questions, Prabhu. Thank you. But maybe we can discuss after. Thank you. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki